Hey, what's up, everybody? This is the Help Us Understand podcast, where we try to figure things out. My name's Zach.
This is Josh.
And we are constantly trying to help each other figure things out or get somebody to help us out. I mean, we need, the
unsuccessfully.
listeners. We need the listeners to give us some advice.
Yeah, all 6 or 7.
Or maybe not. Sometimes I don't want advice, but I need it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're not looking for advice necessarily. It's just there's so much shit right now in the world that neither one of us can grasp or understand. I don't think anybody does. But if anyone can, we certainly need help with that. So that's what this is about, really.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
Anything interesting happened to you this week?
Lots of things.
I returned a few shopping carts.
You did?
I did.
Well done. Well done. I did too, actually. I returned 2. I thought about it, though, because after our last podcast, I was like, maybe you and I should sit in the parking lot.
And watch people.
And then when they do it, go,
Have you seen that guy on YouTube?
No.
Yeah, he...
oh, wait, the big guy?
Well, no, he has... he makes their magnets, their car magnets.
Oh, and he follows the car.
He'll flat out, if he watches them walk away without putting their card away, he'll put the magnet on the card that said, "I wouldn't return my shopping cart." And the people are getting madder than fucking him. And I want to be like, why are you getting mad at him?
True.
Like,
he's just pointing out the obvious.
Yeah, he's just pointing out your lazy ass.
Yeah.
Jesus. But at the same time, I wouldn't want anybody coming to put a magnet on my car either. I'm just going to be like, bro, okay, I'll put the car back.
But you could just literally take the magnet off when you get home and throw it away. It's not that big of a deal.
No, it's really not.
But that's a perfect segue. Sensitive
People's
sensitivity. It's
like sensitivity to heat?
Yeah.
The sun?
Yeah, man. Cooking out there.
Or the cold?
As the kids say, I'm cooked.
I don't think it's what they're talking about.
No, I know. I realize that. We'll get into the lingo. We'll get into the lingo in another podcast.
Right,
that's
fair enough.
Ridiculous.
It is.
Egyptian hieroglyphics.
It's silly.
But yeah, sensitive people like my heart.
Oh, like getting offended.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing about that gets me is the sensitivity of people. It was never a gradual increase. It's like it happened within 10 years. Seriously. Like, I remember the jokes and things that we used to say to each other years ago in public.
Oh my God.
And no one would bat an eye. Now you have to be so goddamn careful about everything that you say.
Yes.
And I still don't get offended easily.
I don't either. I mean, sometimes you might be like, but I mean, for the most part, we let things roll off our back. You know why? Because we grew up learning that, hey, you need to learn to roll things off your back if you want to, quote unquote, survive in the world. I think we've moved away from you shouldn't have to survive. You should be treated fairly all the time.
Well, you can treat people fairly, but at the same time, you can say, I've never been a fan of someone being picked on, like coming from a bullying perspective. That always kind of bothered me, especially with somebody that's defenseless, like a child. Fair. But I mean, you're an adult. You should be able to handle, and I'm not even talking about like super sensitive things. I'm talking about like criticism. Like, you can't criticize anything about anything they do nowadays without them taking offense or getting fucking mad. And it's just like, brother, you just
brother ooh.
You just fucked up. You just messed up. I'm telling you how to do it. I mean, like you mentioned with the kids, though, it's and I don't condone bullying, right?
But I do in certain cases with certain things. It's gotten worse nowadays. The bullying that you and I had seen when we were growing up was the typical standardized, you're this, you're that, you're ugly, 4 eyes, you're fat, you got a small pee-pee. Those types of things were said, and some kids got beat up a little bit here and there. It wasn't huge. Nowadays, we've gone from bullying was, a normal thing to deal with to bullying all the way up until you commit suicide. Like, that's where it's gone too far to now it's not bullying. It's really just straight abuse. Well, and now there's no line.
Well, but here's my thing that obviously the suicide part is terrible.
Yes.
And that fucking pisses me off because you know how I am about kids.
Oh, I know.
Kids are innocent and they shouldn't have to fear day-to-day life. They shouldn't. I remember being bullied by these fucking assholes in elementary school so bad to the point to where I was getting sick with my nerves because I had to go to school. Jesus. And it was just being bullied for stupid. I don't even think it was anything in particular. I was kind of timid. Yeah. I was not nearly as outgoing. Yeah. I'd say I'm fairly outgoing now, and I wasn't like that when I was a kid, really. I mean, I've always been talkative, but I always kind of kept to myself. I never caused problems. Yeah. I never got in trouble, So, I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why. But I mean, that fucking pisses me off. And here's the thing. God forbid someone bullies someone to where they feel like there's no way out and they have to commit suicide. Well, then the fucking bullies feel what? Regret. oh, I shouldn't have done that.
Right.
Or I feel, and I want to be like, where was that fucking regret at the time?
Exactly.
Like, you always know that that's a possibility. Like,
it's almost like they're trying to look cool to other people, but it's too much. It's like enough is enough.
Yeah.
Right. And the point I'm trying to wrap this conversation around is there's a certain amount of bullying that's needed, but not in a severe case.
Give me an example.
Okay. So say little Jimmy grows up, right? We're using Jimmy because I saw somebody carrying Jimmy John's. So now
Mr.
name's
Beast.
stuck in my, oh, Jimmy. Yeah. Whatever.
Mr. Beast, in his name, Jimmy?
I guess.
Are we talking about
Mr. Beast? No, I'm just talking about Jimmy.
Fair enough.
So a guy named Jimmy or a boy named Jimmy grows
Right.
up all his life, doesn't get a single comment made about him. Never has been told he's ugly. Never has been told he's not doing good enough. Never has been told he's pathetic or weak. He's never been told, you need to do better or you need to just grow up and get out of this stupid stuff you're into. He's never been told any criticism or small, slight bullying. Okay. Jimmy now is 23 years old. He gets into his first job and his boss is like, you're doing terrible. And Jimmy goes home and nearly commits suicide because it's such an overwhelming feeling of, I've never been told this in my entire life. Am I just that bad of a person? And it just affects him so mentally because he's never built up a resistance to criticism or negativity.
There's criticism, but who in his life, in this kid's life, would have called him pathetic?
I mean,
where would that come from?
You never know. I mean, kids say all sorts of stuff.
I mean, I'm 38 years old. I've never been called pathetic. And there's a lot of stuff in my life that I can improve
you took
on.
Pathetic out of all the things that I had to say. I'm just, for example, you ugly little bitch. I mean, stuff like that.
Kids
where
are fucking mean
you have to
sometimes.
you have to eventually, and all of us went through it to a certain degree.
Right.
You build a barrier which prepares you for the adult life because adults are worse than kids.
Right. Yeah.
And we've gotten to this mindset of, well, no one should be bad. Well, guess what? People are humans. They're going to mess up. They're going to say dumb stuff in anger and frustration out of jealousy.
Yeah.
You have to have a barrier so that you don't crumble and wither into a paper ball as soon as somebody says, you look kind of funky today.
I'm going to politely disagree to an extent.
Okay.
Okay. But here's where you're right. The reason why I think there are so many sensitive and just really fragile people nowadays, especially in the younger generation, let's say it, the woke people.
Oh,
we
yeah,
can say it.
I agree.
I think that is because even if they are different in any kind of way, let's say that, I don't want to say ugly, let's say they look a little homely.
Homely?
I think that's the polite way to say it.
So now going forward, if we hear Josh say they looked homely, they're ugly.
Unless I specify.
They're uggos.
God. Side note, what do you think fugly means?
Fucking ugly.
Okay, I grew up and for years I thought it meant fat and ugly.
Oh my!
I always thought I thought fugly was fat and ugly. But
I think I did when I was
ugly.
younger, but then someone was like, "It's fucking."
Like if
ugly.
somebody's like a fugly,
and
ass,
I think when someone said that, I was like, "Damn, that's worse." You're not just fat; you're fucking ugly.
All right.
That was a nice side.
Seriously, that was like, yeah. I definitely went off on okay. So to get back on what I was talking about. I think it's because they're all told, it's fine. You're okay. You're just yourself. You are you, which I do agree with.
To a very
I do agree
certain
with.
extent.
I mean, I don't think somebody needs to be ridiculed or picked on because they look different or they're ugly or homely or what the fuck ever or fat or anything. I was a chubby kid, and I got picked on for that kind of thing too. But at the same time, your son, how old is he?
3.5.
He's 3.5.
That's right.
He gets old and he gets older and you find out when he's 15, 16 that he's been bullying someone for being ugly.
Yeah, I mean, we'd have a serious conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
You'd be fucking mad, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would be mad. If it was like he said it one time in passing, I'd probably be like, look, don't do that.
Right.
But if he was continuously doing it, I'd be like, it's abuse now.
Yeah.
Like, you need to stop. I mean, but I think there's a fine line there. Like, you're hearing a bird.
Is that a bird?
That's a bird.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
I can hear like the
It's
loudest
not a mouse,
tweets.
It's a bird.
What the
You're
fuck?
tweaking, bro.
Yeah.
No, there is a fine line of encouragement and being weak, right? So like you mentioned, you're fine, you're sweet, you don't worry about what they said. You are you. There is some encouragement in that, but you have to be careful how you say it. So, if you're telling little Jimmy, let's use Jimmy again, right? Let's talk about some Jimmy.
Right.
Okay. So Jimmy came home and he's like, "Hey, Dad, Some kid at school today said that my forehead looks like a 6 head. What is that?
I've not heard that before.
And what would you say? What would you say to that? To encourage or discourage him?
I'm this kid's father.
Yeah. Someone said he had a 6 head, and he's upset.
Well, I'd be like, son, that's not true. That doesn't even make any sense.
And he'd be like, but Dad, my forehead is kind of big.
And that's okay. What's wrong with that?
Right.
That's
right.
Right.
That's encouragement. That's the difference between encouraging to be like, look, just rub it off. It's fine. Everybody's different. Versus, come here, sit down. Look, listen, you're beautiful on the outside. Your forehead is a symbol of who you are, and you should never let anyone tell you that your head is big. That's the difference. It's the, what's the word I'm trying to find? It's the like massaging their ego versus just some small encouragement.
Right, but at the same time though, everything that you said that would be the massaging ego, I agree with, except for your forehead being a symbol of who you are. That makes me fucking sad.
That's my point is that it goes too far, and then you call the school and say, some other kid told my son that he had a 6 head. I want it dealt with. Chill the fuck out. Right?
Yeah, well, but if there's
it was abuse, that's different.
Well, also too, but especially nowadays, like especially if kids are struggling with something mental, for example, they'll send therapists to your school to talk to them, right? To kind of work out some kind of.
We never had any of that.
But it happened. I had plenty of friends that had it.
Really?
Yeah, of course. And when my parents divorced at a very young age, I was 6 or 7 years old. We had therapy to get through it and stuff like that as kids. I mean, that can be kind of traumatic. Yeah. But here's the thing: the point that I'm trying to make is why is the need for therapy or having a mental issue stigmatized? Right. Why does that look like I don't need help. I'm not we're not saying that you're fucking crazy to have a mental issue or it's the same thing as depression. That's anxiety. There's so many things that you can call that. And forgive me, I hate to get into this. Neither one of us are going to sit here and side with the trans community or against it or whatever. But these kids that are coming forward and are like, I feel like I'm a girl. This is a boy. It says, I feel like I'm a girl. Why are people so afraid to be like, well, maybe we should talk about that and try to help you through it instead of going, okay, you're right. You're a girl. Yeah. Why is that happening?
I don't know. But however,
regardless of what you think about that movement, I think I would love someone to explain to me why that's healthy. Right. Because here's the thing. This is just an example. I am a schizophrenic. Okay. Let's say I'm a schizophrenic. Okay. Yep. I hear voices. Okay. And the voices in my head tell me to walk over there to your drink fridge. Yep. And piss in it.
Fantastic.
And you look at me and you're like, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm like,
you wouldn't make it
my
over
voice,
there,
my voices, the voices in my head are telling me to pee in your drinks fridge.
Right. My drinks fridge.
Or whatever. What is that?
It's a mini fridge.
Mini fridge. Couldn't think of what it's called. But so because we're indulging in certain people's confusion, would some people be like, okay, well, that's, maybe the person in your head had a point.
But you're right. That's the direction. Where
is the line? I'm not saying that people that have gender dysmorphia or get confused are wrong or there's something majorly wrong with it. I'm just saying they're confused, and that's okay. Right. Yeah. They just need help. Yeah. And I'm not, and people need to stop looking at that as such a negative thing.
Well, and I agree.
And kids are so malleable; they're so easily to persuade.
They don't know what their favorite color is.
Yeah, they're watching. What's that woman on YouTube, Miss Rachel? Yeah, Miss Rachel they'll believe any fucking thing she says.
Yes, absolutely.
I remember a little neighbor girl in the house where we grew up. Our neighbor, she was like 5 or 6 or something. I convinced her one year. I can't believe I did this because it was fucked up. I convinced her one year that I was the Easter Bunny.
Oh, man. She
believed me.
I got 2 points here. So first, I agree and disagree with your original statement that the stigma behind therapy is bad, essentially. Okay, I do agree that there's a lot of people out there that need therapy. I'm probably more in alignment with people need it more nowadays than they used to. I disagree with most people. Okay. I think that overcoming a lot of your own things, if you're able to, is a really, really strong characteristic.
Yes.
It's a very good, it shows that you have a very strong willpower. You're able to overcome certain things mentally, whereas other people aren't. And that doesn't mean that they're weaker as a person. That just means that they just need that extra help, right? I am 100% alignment, but I don't think personally the majority needs therapy. I think maybe now it's about 60%, which may be the majority, but before, if you had asked me this 10 years ago, I would have said no. 20% need therapy.
So here's how I'll counter that. The reason why I feel the way I do when it comes to getting help with mental issues is because years ago, I had people in my family, I had friends, I had people around me that suffered from different severities of depression. And I never understood it. I was naive. I was a very naive young person, and I was just kind of like, it's your brain. Why can't you just get out of this funk? Why can't you why can't you talk yourself to feel better? Why can't you make yourself to feel better? Fast forward 10 or 15 fucking years, with me, I start going through some shit in life that I can't control and I couldn't cope with. And I started suffering with depression. And you start to realize that it is a chemical imbalance.
Yeah.
And and it's also influenced by, and what I say the majority of people would benefit from therapy or some kind of help is you need to talk to someone that's unbiased. You need to talk to someone that's not in your family, that's not a close friend of yours, that's someone that's looking at your life from the outside willingly. If you're willing to let them know what's going on, because then they can give an unbiased opinion. And I'm not saying that they need it. I'm saying it's helpful.
Okay. Again, disagree and agree.
Right.
I agree when it comes down to situations.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. Because situations can fuck up the brain. It just can.
Mm-hmm.
If something's severe enough and it's extended enough, it's going to mess with your head. You need that extra help to just step out, let someone kind of step in to help you out and walk you through it. However, I disagree that it's just helpful in general, because I think that that's part of the problem that we've gotten ourselves into is there's too much openness on feelings. And I personally, and I know I'm not going to get a very good following for this, what I'm about to say, but your feelings matter to you and nobody else.
Right.
Nobody could give a fuck in general. You need to control your feelings.
To an
and unless
extent,
there's a problem that, by all means, if you have depression, if you sincerely, and this is another thing, sincerely suffer from anxiety,
right?
Which that word has gotten so thrown around.
I know.
It's overused. And now the moment that someone's nervous, their anxiety's hitting. No, I know. You're nervous.
I'm triggered.
Yeah, you're triggered. No, you're in a situation that your body's not completely comfortable in, that you need to learn to overcome.
And I'll agree with you there. I'll agree with you that it's getting to a point to where it's too far.
Right.
And a perfect example of too far is someone being in college. You're a grown adult.
Yeah.
You're in college to learn things, and you need something called a safe space. What the fuck is that?
Right.
Safe from what? Bombs?
Books.
I mean, like, I just don't. I
say
don't.
Bobs.
Bullets?
All right, Bob.
No bombs.
Oh. I thought you were like, everybody named Bob is just a piece of shit.
No bombs. Fuck Bob.
Sorry, Bob. Fuck you.
That's pretty good. Jimmy's a Bob.
You're just Jimmy and Bob. Hey, Jimmy, what would Jimmy's nickname be? Like, would it be Bob? Bob is
James.
Robert. Robert would be Bob as short.
Jimmy's would be James.
James, okay.
So Jimmy's grown now, and he's now James.
Now he's James.
Nobody calls him Jimmy.
We've
or he's
moved
Mr.
on,
Beast.
and he has depression, so
okay, well,
we're creating someone.
But
now.
again, the safe space thing, like, I just don't like. Can we not talk about that right now? Because I'm getting a little triggered. That is so fragile.
Yes.
Like, yeah, I went through some. I'm on
about.
medication for anxiety.
Yeah,
and I went through some depression stuff. But at the same time, I would never be in a conversation and be like, guys, can we not talk about turkeys right now?
I need my safe space.
I mean, can we? I need.
That's you not wanting to deal with life.
That's what I'm saying. That's hiding.
Yes.
That's completely different.
Absolutely.
That is way over the top sensitivity. Like, where did that come from?
Right.
And I don't even know if that's
what I mean.
But I don't even know if that's coming from parenting or anything. That's definitely societal influence.
Yeah.
You go to these colleges or anywhere, really. I mean, it's kind of happening anywhere.
Folks, we have a safe space for everyone.
Right.
And it's like, well, good, I can get my own. What is that? And then a thought is like poison in the mind, right?
Pardon.
And I learned this.
Sorry.
Nice. A thought is like a poison in the mind. And what I mean is a long time ago, I had a teacher and I think she was teaching psychology. It probably would make sense.
Right.
And she said, now, if I'm going to tell you right now, don't think about a pink elephant in the corner of that room. Your mind instantaneously
Of course.
thinks about a pink elephant in the room.
100%.
But if I had never said that, you would never think about a pink, maybe, if you were high or something, you might, but you would never think about it. So now you're in a room full of kids and you go, kids, anxiety is when you start to feel weird and uncomfortable. And guess what? Now all these kids go home and for the rest of their life, I have anxiety. It's not anxiety. It's being misrepresented. It's being taught incorrectly because it's a thought and it just stays there. And I think that was the problem is there was too many pussies out there asking for safe spaces. Yeah. Sorry, folks. And then it became this big enough thing that everyone said, we have to have this in our curriculum or we have to have this before to make sure that our students and our kids, students and kids are comfortable here because we want their money, right? So you want to make sure you get as much as you want.
And it's so funny though, because I had never considered this. I saw an interview that Charlie Kirk was talking about. And he was talking about how colleges and schooling is a scam. Yeah. For that exact kind of thing. You know, that's a whole completely different, that's a whole completely different episode.
But I think it just, we've leached this idea of mental issues into society and unfortunately have drowned out those who truly have mental issues.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, it's, the ones that are, I hate to say this, but the ones that are mentally handicapped. Right. But you can also physically see the ones that are blaming mental issues when it's really just a barrier to not face society.
Right.
It's just
And again, too, I mean, you notice. I mean, I think I've made it clear on here before that I was very in a young age. In my 20s, I was very liberal, very left wing. You remember we used to get screaming matches.
Yeah, screaming.
Good days, man. Oh, man. I remember that shit. That was fun. I miss it too. We still do sometimes, but not like we did.
We get more old man loud.
Yeah, it's like you
get loud
kids.
like when we're kids. You can. Yeah. Now it's like you get up and your body gets tired, so you go. I just told you. Said that.
My knees cracked. I mean, I mean, but the thing about it is I think. The being naive, like I think everybody's naive when they're growing up and makes stupid choices and always looks back on it and goes, God damn, what was I fucking thinking?
Right.
I've done that.
Yeah.
Of course I did.
All of us have.
But that's what I'm saying. I think a lot of these people that are, I don't want to say brainwashed. I don't think it's that bad. Well, maybe to some extent.
I think some of it is brainwashing.
Maybe it is, but at the same time, because these kids I look at some of these arguments that some of these people make and it like, I try, because you know me, I try to sympathize and I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. And I'm trying to understand their argument. I really want to get in their mind and see where they're looking at it, and I fucking can't.
Help us understand.
I cannot.
Yeah, I mean,
and Zach and I are two of the nicest people that you'll ever meet.
Thank you.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Meaning, so many people from one side or the other are so unwilling to talk about things, have a civilized conversation without getting their feelings hurt, sensitivity. Or getting upset and just storming out or something. If anybody is listening to this and fucking disagrees with what we are saying, please reach out to us.
Yes.
We sincerely, legitimately want to know your opinion and want to know what you think. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's fine. You are allowed to have a differing opinion. We've got to normalize talking instead of going around bashing each other's fucking windows.
And I really hate to say this, but this is where the politics are coming in too.
Yeah.
We have separated the right wing and left wing to far right and far left. And there's almost no middle. The people in the middle are closer to us, have no voice.
Right.
Because nobody wants to talk to each other.
Yeah.
They just want to throw shit at each other and scream and
insult.
Be naked in the street.
Yeah, I don't get that.
It doesn't make any sense.
I don't care how good my body looked. I still wouldn't be naked out in the street.
No, you'd have to pay me a lot of money for that. How much would it take?
To be naked in the street?
Let's say
with my current
physique? The mall that's near us, right?
Okay.
Butt ass naked. Someone says you have to run from one end on the bottom floor to the other. You don't have to go up top, just bottom. There's no food courts because that's on
I'm
top.
more concerned about the running than I am being the naked, to be honest. Because by the time I get there,
can I just do a nice slow walk?
Yeah, I can do a quick walk with a break in the middle.
Okay, let's do a steady walk, right?
It's like, Josh, you're not supposed to stop at Sears. You need to keep going.
But I like the grill.
The amount of money. So I'm running from Belk essentially,
right,
to the other side of the mall.
Yes, $500,000. You will get arrested. You know that.
Is this an open mall?
It's an open mall. No, it's a closed-in mall.
No, but I'm saying it's during opening hours.
Oh,
I mean.
yeah. Oh, 100%.
People are shopping, enjoying their day.
Kidlets and everything.
And this is
Kids and
this is
everything.
locally.
Yeah.
People that we know.
100%.
No, not for 500,000.
5 million. There we go. Tickling his pickle.
I mean, I'd have to be a hermit for a while.
Right.
I couldn't show my face
first. Yeah, I mean.
Arrested?
You would get arrested. By the time they'd catch you halfway through the mall.
We couldn't clear this with the police?
No.
I can get pretty fast. Not that
What?
fast. I'm not outrunning a cop. That's for damn sure. 5 million. I'm going to have to say maybe. I don't know.
Last one, 50 million.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah,
How
for sure.
quick? Oh, yeah.
For
I'll go to jail a year.
I mean, because at that point, I'll explain it to my friends. Be like, yeah, you saw my bits, but come on, $50 million. My bits.
I can't. I think for 5 million, I'd probably.
The wedding vegetables.
I would fill my body with so much caffeine and pre-workout and then just like a track star. I'd be ready, and then boom, I'd run as fast as humanly possible.
Yeah, but you already have a lot of. The amount of energy drinks that you drink now, you would have a heart attack and die in the mall.
I'd make it,
and then your family would get the $50 million.
Well, there you go, 5 million. I'll
five.
take 5.
Oh, you do a 5.
No, I'd at least make it to the other end of the mall and go, I did it, and that would be it.
Have to stop at the Dippin' Dot stand.
Oh, buddy,
Gotta give me some dots.
See, everybody knows I love Dubbin-Dits.
Dubbin-Dits? We can start that.
Dubbin-Dits?
Have you heard of Dippin' Dots? Wait until you try Dubbin-Dits. Oh, man, God. All right, great. So, where do we leave off?
I don't remember. Sensitive people.
Oh, being naked in the street.
Oh, yeah. Really? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, what we're referring to is, when is Pride Month?
June.
It's June. Okay, so it was recently.
Yeah.
We kept seeing all these videos with all these
Pride
Pride parades.
You said that like you whispered.
Did I? When is Pride Month? Yeah, because I don't want to offend your workout equipment. Or whatever. But we kept seeing all these videos and this footage of Pride parades, which is all fine. I mean, we have a Pride parade.
Well,
no,
to some extent. Well, there were some things happening that
but that's what I'm saying. Pride parade, cool. But what I didn't get is that for some reason, part of being proud of your sexual orientation was being naked in public, and I just didn't get that. I didn't understand
at all because there's children there.
Right, of course.
Literally people get arrested for public nudity,
and for some reason it was
okay.
Why the fuck
is that okay?
Right, I don't know.
That doesn't make sense.
But even aside from the law part of it, like the legality of being naked in public, I just don't get what that has to do with your pride. I don't understand that.
Okay, same token, if you enjoy and that's your identity of being naked, there's literal nudist colonies all over the place.
Yeah, for sure.
That are designed
to keep you away
from the regular public, and police know that.
Right.
There's specific zones for those people.
Yeah.
Go
be naked.
Go.
Yeah.
You can be free 24 hours a day, and everyone's going to greet you and pop your dick and say good morning.
People don't do that in nudist colony. Good morning. No, yeah, right. I would never go. Good morning, but don't touch my dick. So that would be good morning. Pat, pat, pat.
Or good morning, slap on the ass.
That'd be funny. Good game. No, I doubt that's what happens at nudist
colonies. I doubt that too. But there's a place for those folks.
Yeah.
It's not that we're saying this is abolished from the planet.
No.
There's zones where you can go and enjoy yourself.
Well, okay, but
this is no different than going to Disney World. Okay?
Yes.
I want to go
have fun. Worse.
I mean, it's a little worse, but if I want to go have fun and be a kid again,
right.
I'm not going to go outside in my yard and dance around in Mickey Mouse ears, because guess what? Someone's probably going to call the po-po on me at some point and be like, we got this man who's going woohoo out in the yard. But if I go do that at Disney World, guess what? I'm an adult having fun.
Yeah, but you'd be naked in your yard.
I'm not talking about being naked. Huh?
Oh.
I'm talking about the different. I'm just saying.
Oh, you're talking about your comparison.
For everybody,
okay.
right?
I get it.
I'm not being naked in Disney World either. Jesus
I mean,
Christ.
I have a pair of Mickey Mouse ears. I'd wear them at home sometime. I haven't.
In the house.
No, I'd wear them out.
You go out. All right. Next time you mow the yard, I want a polo of you wearing the mouse ears, and I'm coming over.
Our mower's broken. Remember? No,
yes,
okay.
I know.
The next time we're doing any kind of yard work, I will wear my Mickey ears.
And I will come over with paparazzi.
Local paparazzi?
Yes.
Fair enough.
Local man decides to wear Mickey Mouse ears while cutting grass.
Disney adult does yard
Apocalypse
work.
near us.
I mean, but I just don't get the pride thing. I'm not even talking about where you choose to do it. If you thoroughly enjoy being naked, that's all fine and good. I just don't understand what that has to do with your pride. I don't understand being proud of that. I don't get that. Like, I like pajama pants, but I'm not proud of it. What? Yeah, that's
Why
what
does
I'm
it
saying.
have to be paraded? Do we parade?
But that's what I'm saying.
anything
But I
else?
think that's out of spite, though. That's when it happens. It's out of like, haha, look what I'm doing. I'm getting away with this.
Which means that it's got malicious intent. You know what I mean?
Well,
I mean, it'd be different if it was part of a parade.
Right.
That is 100% different.
Right.
Because you are now part of a larger event expressing your group
Right.
within the large majority,
Right.
right? So you have people who are into karate, you have people who are into dance, you have Santa Claus, and then you have gay people, or you have trans people. You have now joined in on here we are, here's what we celebrate. But having an entire dedication to one thing, I don't think ever is reasonable unless it's a holiday.
But that's what I'm saying. 4th of July. We have 4th of July parade. People are dressed up as Uncle Sam. There's soldiers
I bet you
dressed
half the
up.
people don't even know what that means, 4th of July anymore. I don't think people know what that is.
They know what it is, but I don't think it means the same thing to people anymore, which is fucking
Fireworks Day.
shit. I guess. Hot dogs.
Yeah, hot dogs and
Christmas parade. People are dressed up like Santa Claus, the Grinch, Snowman, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
That's all part of Christmas identity. That's all part of 4th of July identity. So I guess my question is being naked part of your identity? Is that what you're identifying
there's
as?
There's nudist colonies.
And I saw this one video. Of this one guy. He was heavy dude, bigger than me. He was a bigger guy than I am.
Big chunk.
Yeah, big dude.
Yeah.
Fuck. Words.
There's that old man memory.
Yeah, seriously, brain farts. He came out and he was wearing a half shirt. His gut was hanging out.
Yeah.
He was wearing these really, really short shorts.
Right.
And was wearing a muzzle, a dog muzzle. Now, fair enough, I guess. But at the same time, but the thing that got me was he was being interviewed by somebody who was talking about Pride Day.
Yeah.
Or Pride Month. And they were like, so tell us about what you're wearing here. And he was like, well, I just use Pride Month as an opportunity for me to dress the way that makes me feel comfortable. And I want to be like, what the fuck does a dog muzzle have to do with feeling comfortable?
I mean, but okay.
What could be more comfortable than not having anything on your face? Like, I don't understand that.
Maybe that's what he enjoys, right? But again, you can do it in your own home and feel comfortable the whole time you're at home.
I guess.
Why do you have to do it in public? If you saw that on the beach and we were at the beach, somebody would report it, right? And be like, it's not decent.
Right.
So are they fighting what's decent, what we consider decent? Are they trying to fight the fight of anyone should be able to wear nothing or anything they want to all the time?
But that's what I think it is. It's not about pride and it's not about comfort. It's about fighting.
Then it's evil. I'm sorry.
Well,
but because if you're constantly trying to fight something that is wrong,
I don't think evil is the intent. I think it might be perceived that way, but I don't think they roll out of bed going, yeah.
No,
I
understand.
I don't think
I think it's misconstrued demonstration of like my way should be the only way.
Of course, yeah.
Right.
That's a very radical way of doing it. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas, it should be considered that most people, maybe not most, there are maybe other people that aren't comfortable, right?
Yes.
That's the point that we need to get back to in society.
Right.
It's not necessarily about representing everyone. It's about let's not necessarily offend everyone either, which I know that's a fine line, but we're at the point now where we're trying to say, well, let's not offend anyone.
Right.
But let's not worry about am I saying it backwards? Yeah. Let me represent everyone and let's not worry about the offense part. Right? That's the direction that we're going in.
But they're not representing everybody.
We're trying to support every single tiny little thing out there and say everything's accepted. But we're not worried about it offending other people.
Right.
We need to consider both. And both have to be equally valued so that you have a line of no naked people walking on the fucking street, because there are people that don't believe that's acceptable. And it shouldn't be, because it isn't. It's not right. You don't want kids walking around seeing people's private parts all over the place.
Their bits.
Yeah, they're bits. We
Right.
use bits.
I mean, I sure as hell. I mean, if I had my kids out, it would be, again, I'm not one of those, I'm not for heavy censorship in like form of TV and movies. Like I remember growing up and seeing Forrest Gump
Yeah.
for the first time and was watching it with my mom and my older sister.
Mm.
And there's a scene where she takes off her top. Jenny takes off her top. And I remember my mom just panicking and covering my eyes. And at the time I was like, oh, okay, I'm just not supposed to see this. But as I got older, I was like, they're just boobs. Like
They're bits.
They're bits. They're women bits. But I mean, I just never understood people's, and again, I'm not trying to be contradictory. It's just,
Right.
I don't think people should be ashamed of their bodies. But at the same time, though, I don't think it's something that needs to be flaunted needlessly.
Right.
If we're watching a movie about a love story and there's a man and a woman and they're growing to each other and they end up having sex in the movie and there's a little bit of nudity, fair enough. That there's the fucking words, the context.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But if there's just a parade and you're supposed to be celebrating, you know, how proud you are and who you are, but then just being naked, that's going to be hard to explain to a kid.
Yes, it is. Because
You know?
there's no significant reason behind that until you're a grown adult.
Right.
And you know what you are and you know what you want to be. When you're an adult, you can be whatever the fuck you want to be.
But not anywhere you want to
Not
be.
anywhere you want to be. But
Right.
you can, at home, if you want to be a car and sit on all fours and go "Meow, meow," all day long, be our guest.
Yeah, you can.
Right?
For
You
sure.
can. That's the freedom of you having your own space.
Right.
It's kind of getting back to safe space, but your own space. Does that mean that you should force that into the public eye and say, well, maybe there's other people that want to be like me and they just don't know how?
So let me be naked.
Right. So let me be naked. That context doesn't make any sense. That
Right.
makes no sense because then what you're doing is you're forcing everyone else you're forcing them to see what you think is okay.
Right.
When in reality, for generations and generations, none of this has been accepted. We're on this new cusp of what's acceptable versus what's not acceptable.
Well, but I think that's,
And we're pushing the boundaries
yeah, but
too far.
that's always been changing. I mean, hell, dude. I mean, you know, millions of years, I don't know, thousands of years ago, people used to shit in the street because that was normal.
Yeah, because they didn't have toilets.
Right.
But that was perfectly explainable. I mean, could you imagine though? Let's put ourselves back in that time. It was a normal thing to shit in the street, right?
Right.
I don't think anybody thought anything of it. But I would bet some significant money that the majority of societies that were shitting in the street weren't walking around butt ass naked and just decided to go whop and plop. I think they still had some garments on and
Well,
maybe
yeah, of course.
had some of that decency to be semi-private.
Yeah, I'm talking
or
about
shit in a bucket or a pan and then put it in the street. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Like there's always that form. We always have to hold to some form of decency.
I get it in society, but I'm saying society is always changing. But I will agree that a lot of the stuff that we're kind of trying to introduce into society nowadays is very radical and it's very different. And let me ask you a question. Zach has a dog named Lucy.
Yeah.
And I'm going to call into question Lucy's sexuality.
Okay.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because the whole time we've been talking about this, that's the most she's ever barked while we recorded a podcast. She's protesting.
Oh, I know.
She has a
does
fucking
that.
problem with what we're talking
She
about.
knows. Yeah.
She does?
So why'd you question her sexuality?
Well, maybe she's gay and has a problem with what we're talking about. She likes to be naked.
Okay. And this is where I have to just
Politely disagree.
politely disagree. Okay. She's a dog.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, we can get into, Lord have mercy, we can get into Alex Jones and talk about how the frogs are gay.
Fuck
I'm not
no.
doing that. I'm not going there. But no, we're not doing that.
I know.
She's a dog. She's a female dog. Goodness. Oh,
You misgendered her. All right.
God.
Wow.
bless.
I'd say that's one of the, I think it's one of the more serious episodes we've done so far.
Oh, help us, folks. I mean,
Yeah, really.
seriously though, but help. I'm struggling. Help us understand why that should be acceptable.
Right.
To do that kind of stuff. And again, back to the sensitivity. If you have information to tell us, hey, listen, I don't have a mental disability, but I'm a sensitive person.
Right.
Explain.
Yeah.
Just tell us. We want to understand. The more you tell us, the more we can at least understand it.
And it is not in any way we in no way want to offend anybody or say that anybody's doing what they're doing in life is wrong or anything like that. That's an opinion, and most people's opinions don't fucking matter.
We question everything.
That's what I'm saying. That
We literally question
we
everything.
literally are trying to understand that is the point of this podcast, and we really do mean that. Whether or not you agree with us or you disagree with us, we want to hear back from you. And what you can do that is you can check out our YouTube page, Help Us Understand Podcast. You can shoot us an email at hepuspod@gmail.com. I'm not going to spell it because as we made it clear last episode,
Josh,
you should know how to spell.
there's sensitive people out there.
I know. I'm sorry.
That may not know how to spell.
I will record a separate safe episode where I will spell
like ASMR, and you go H.
I don't think I could do. I don't think I
like
could
heavy
do
breathing after each one.
Calm. But yeah, help us out. No,
help us out.
Help us out. Help us pod@gmail.com. We are now on Spotify.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can find us on Spotify. Help us.
We're going to get on Apple. But
Well, we sent it to Apple. They haven't accepted us yet. So I don't know if they
got
like
too many
us.
Updates to roll out on phones.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Podcast. Yeah.
We've got to approve it before they let us in. But definitely check us out on YouTube,
share it,
Spotify, share it with your friends. If you hate it and you think there's something we need to do different, tell us. If you love it and like what we're doing, tell us.
If you don't have an opinion,
tell us.
Yeah. I mean, really. And to just reiterate the fact that we will question, and we have questioned in our life, everything.
Mm-hmm.
We've questioned the most fucked up things you could possibly imagine.
Mm-hmm.
And we will at some point, and I know we will, end up on a conspiracy episode that's coming. It's we're on the cusp. We're on the cusp.
We're gonna need to have drinks for that.
We
one.
need to have
I'm
drinks.
not gonna be able to
but
get sober.
Just we just question things, folks. We're not, like you said, we're not trying to offend people. That's not our job here.
Right.
I could do that, but I don't want to.
I mean, if we start figuring out that our audience is okay with it and kind of has a sense of humor, we might do that a little bit, but not really.
Yeah, somewhat.
Either way, but we're gonna call it for this episode.
Don't forget,
yeah,
Bob.
don't forget.
Bob, you're a bitch.
Bob and Jimmy.
All the Bobs, they're bitches. Jimmy's are just pussies.
We don't mean that.
I'm just kidding.
I don't know any
Maybe.
Bobs.
I know a Bob. I know a couple Bobs.
I know you know a Bob.
You know Bob. You know Bob.
Bob.
Hey, what you doing?
Yes. Oh, I forgot about him. All right, but that's it for this week. We will get you again next week. I was Josh.
I was Zach.
We will get you next time.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.